All right, let's continue working our way through these review questions. We are on our final review question, and it's a word problem, big scary word problem. Uh-oh, what do we do? Word problems, everybody panic. It's not too bad. We'll read through it and we'll pick out the pertinent or important information and see if we can't fill out these blank lines and then figure out what everything means in this question. So this says Kaylee is planning to rent an RV to travel to the Grand Canyon for winter break. The function c of x equals 0.50x plus 60 represents the cost in dollars after driving some number of miles, x miles, right? We don't know how many miles we're going to drive, but this is the equation, the function that we're going to use to find out our costs. So let's do one thing. This right here, c of x equals 0.5x plus 60, looks very similar to an equation we should all be starting to get really familiar with, where it says y equals mx plus b. And our m is our slope, and our b is our y-intercept. And if that's the case, when I look at the equation that's given to us right here, I can start to pull out some of this information. If the number that's in front of the x is my slope, and in my equation it says 0.50x, then my slope is going to be 0.50. Now, if the question asked you to write that as a fraction, which slope is usually as a fraction, if you have your calculator, you can go and hit 0.50, then hit the math button over on the left and hit enter, enter, and it'll turn it into a fraction. And that shows you that that's 1/2. Hopefully, you can look at 0.50 and recognize that that's 1/2. But if you get a wonky decimal or you're just unsure and you want to double check yourself, you can use your calculator to do that work for you. The second blank says, what is the y-intercept of the function on the left? Well, our y-intercept is that constant term, right? Has no variable attached to it that comes at the end of the equation. In this example, that number is 60. So we're not trying to trick anybody. That number would be our y-intercept. So what do these values mean in context? So how much does it cost to rent this RV? Well, what's the y-intercept? We always say it's our beginning point. So when we go to rent this RV, no matter what, whether we drive 1 mile or 100 miles, we are going to be spending $60 to rent this RV, just up front. That's where the beginning cost is. Then, once we start driving, for every mile we drive, they're going to charge us another 50 cents. So I can drive as much as I want, but I just have to be mindful that the more miles I drive, the more expensive this rental gets. So what do these values mean in context? 0.50 means 0.50x, let's put, means every mile driven costs 50 cents. 60 is the upfront cost. It costs $60 just to drive off the lot. And that's it. So word problems sometimes can be scary, but if we go through it slow, we take the information that we've already learned, we know what we know, and we apply what we know to the information that's given to us. I think more often than not, you'll find out that you can work through these problems. So please make sure you're giving them a shot, right? Don't just see a word problem and think, oh, I can't do it. Most likely you can. And if you have questions, make sure you're asking. Otherwise, ask myself for help, ask your teachers for help, go to FIT, go to tutorials, whatever it is you need to do to make sure that you are understanding this material. I hope this is helpful. I'll see you next